Welcome, everyone. This is What If I Am What If Studier, and this is What If Deku Was Smough. Very interesting one. And first, I think we gotta start off with his origin story. Yeah. So basically, Deku is a miner. A miner. Just a gnome miner, right? A gold grubbin miner. As he had been gold crazed for years and years. He's known for that, right? Until this one month where he goes off just mining for months. And nobody's seen him for that whole entire time until he strikes down a door made out of sheer gold, solid gold. Finding these huge piles of money, gold, everything he could wish for, he cried. He swore that he would never leave this, that he would make this his own home. As such, he just sat down on this golden throne of golds and riches. You know, he watched over it as his guardian. He sat there for so long, time itself was impressed. Millennia went by and he began growing. He began having to fight off invaders, people that were trying to steal his gold. Sporting a golden armor and a golden longsword as his defending tool. So, after a long time, the gods themselves blessed him with the ultimate power of defense, becoming a dragon, its scales and the wings. Slowly, he continued to grow over time, turning from human to full-grown dragon. So, after defending it for millennia and sleeping for millennia, he finally woke up when a gigantic explosion happened one day, the nuclear bombs that were dropped on Japan. He, of course, is curious how the humans have gone this far. So he takes a little trip in town, and by trip I mean destroying it completely and wholly. Setting everything on fire, of course. You know, they pissed him off a little bit by firing guns at him. His scales easily deflect those, however. These humans haven't changed a single bit. Ugh, whatever. So, as he's flying over, he suddenly gets hit out of the sky by a punch. Actually, this is a punch from one All Might. All for one. You're in the way of my business, dragon. An actual challenge, eh? Ugh! As he's punched in the stomach by the gigantic, All for One using all of his quirks and actually stand up to Deku. And then out of nowhere, Nana Shimura grabs onto his back as he's flying through the air, trying to dodge a lot of the projectiles that All for One is shooting. She climbs as far as she can onto his neck. As he's doing this, he's raining fire down on plenty of towns, causing huge destruction in all the cities. He's become famous of a villain, a dragon, famous for being a villain. Who even knew? She suddenly finds his weak spot. One scale that was off. One scale. The soft meat under it, she prepared All for One, 100%, hitting him right in that spot, knocks him out of the air. Right as he falls and craters into the ground. Now, Shimura hopped off of him before he cratered into the ground. He was basically buried into the ground. She had one of the other heroes come out and revert him back in time. This, of course, it's like Henri's quirk, reverting him back to his human form. However, she could not revert him any farther back except making him, before he was turned into Smough, back to when he was just like what he was before. However, this changes him from a gnome because of his body length and shape. It makes him taller and much more younger, but the scales kept on. All of the blessings from the gods had still attached onto him. So he still had the scales, the wings, the everything. Nana Shimura kept this a secret. leaving him where he was buried, as they just thought that they had gotten rid of his power. He wakes up a few years later. They had built a memorial around him, a sort of like thing about all the heroes that had died in the line of duty. As he wakes up, he lazily gets out of this grave, sort of. As he burns out all of the frickin' vines that were around it. He looks around, seeing all these graves. I didn't even remember killing half these people. Are these people I killed? The number count. The count is too high. If they've touched my goddamn gold, I swear to God. So, yeah, he just starts searching around for his gold, right? And also, so two things that he wants right now: Nana Shimura and his gold. As he's starting to reintegrate back into human society, they check his quirk, all of his, kind of dragon limbs as, just dragon-like features. I know that it looks like a Leviathan quirk on him right now. Trust me. Just imagine that that's a dragon, right? Just trust me. It's the best one. Don't do it. Now, freaking, Deku's running around, and he can't find his lair. He had been so mind reversed that he couldn't remember his own lair. He had hit the ground so hard he couldn't remember half the things he had done. But all he could remember is a name that he heard before he was knocked out: Nana Shimura. That bitch. I will get my revenge. Oh yes. Now, he wanders around asking about Nana Shimura. Of course, nobody really knows where she is. They all remember her as the greatest hero that almost ever lived. And so he gets royally pissed off trying to find her. He gives up along the way and just decides to ask the heroes that he had defeated. Maybe he could find some of them. So he hears about this kind of UA exam, this sort of hero assigning thing. He thinks to himself, that's my way in. What schmucks. Fine. Bring it on. As he runs out, he finds the exam and goes in promptly, just announcing himself, because he's pretty selfish right now. As, Smaug, the dragon that had terrorized people for years, as they all start to laugh at him, saying, "You're just a boy, don't kid us." It's all these kids and stuff, and he's like, fuck, how did they not think I am? This boyish body of mine. I should uncover it. I shall break its limits. But first, take out these robots. Get in, get out, destroy Nana Shimura. This'll be easy. As President Mike starts explaining, he doesn't care. Just kill robots, that's all he got out of that. And go. Basically, they all just start running, and he's like, wait, what? Okay, whatever. He sprouts his wings. Now, his wings he had been sprouted for years upon years are kind of crooked. So his takeoff is a little bit weird. Spinning through the air, he kind of slices through multiple of the robots on accident because of just how much power he had and how fast he was spinning out of control. He kind of bowling balled into 50 of them. Getting up from that, at least his scales protected him from some, but he had shrapnel stuck in his stomach. He probably just takes that out, just kind of looks up, kind of reinvigoration in his eyes as green flames sprout from him. This gets him real riled up. He just starts to frickin' rage a little bit because of how he had just been hurt. He's bleeding a lot though, but he was bleeding green, which really was weird to everybody else, but it's a quirk. So he just starts rampaging through all this stuff, but he's like, this foolish child's body of mine. I'll never get in if this is where I'm going. He already has 50 points within the first 2 minutes, so he's fine, but he doesn't know that. He just heard destroy all robots, and if he's not destroying all robots, what the hell is he doing? So he tries to go bigger and better, spreading his making himself bigger, like growing a chest a little bit, and like scales start to sprout out of almost every place on his skin molecule in his body, armoring him up, and he just starts bashing in all of the robots. He would take like one and like he would throw one of his scales at one, slicing off its head, and then he would like run over and destroy another with his wings, like slicing it in half with his wing, as the top part would like slide off, until the gigantic guy came around, and promptly he heard Uraraka screaming. So he doesn't care much about Uraraka, but the big guy, now that must give him some real points. As he dashes as hard as he dashes as hard as he can using his wings, floating up and then dashing straight at the robot, but then it turns around and punches him out of the air, punching him into a building, smashing into the building. His left wing is badly damaged and crooked nonetheless, so he could barely even fly. Damn it, he says. If only I was bigger and badder. His teeth start to grow as his face starts to reposition itself like the dragon it was before. He jumps as hard as he can, almost sprouting a fourth, almost like just immediately charging his head straight through it. He breathes fire through it, melting its core, and then dashes straight through it, chomping onto its core, onto its engine, destroying the engine inside of his mouth by melting it. Uraraka can't like explain her reasoning for for thanking him before he just immediately like reverts back to human form, because that was really tiring for him. She's like, "Oh my god, he's cute." He's like, "Cute? I am not cute. What are you talking about, human?" And he's like, President Mike's like, "That's it. Get going, guys. You're done." Like, he's like, "Finally. Well, did I get all of them? Let's hope so." And she's like, "Oh, you're just the cutest thing. Look at your little wings." And he's like, "They are not little. I use these to slice humans in half, burn whole cities to the ground as I float atop like a king." She's like, "Aw, dude, he thinks he's so tough." He's like, "You fucking Jesus. I will murder you all." So basically, yeah, no, that's how that works. And then he comes back. Of course he gets in, guys. He gets even better than Bakugo, like 160, I would believe, because I mean, he did save Uraraka still. So yeah, that still works. So the first day in class, I mean, he doesn't want to risk anything, right? So he goes straight to class and starts sleeping in the back at goddamn 12 o'clock in the morning. He goes there as fast as he can. As such, he starts to meet all of the faculty members and everybody there, as he's very, accepted by them for some reason. He's very confused why they're all so happy to see him, as he's just a student now. They see him as one. So Aizawa gets there, is really confused why Deku's already there, and says that he's going to sleep, and Deku's like, "Already am." He's like, "Cool, sleeping buddies, let's go." And he starts to like Aizawa a little bit more, grinning a little bit, just a bit. Now Deku, all the rest of the class gets there and are asking Deku about his quirk, like all the girls are fangirling around him because he's so cute, and he has these little wings and stuff, and he has like these really soft scales that are really hard somehow. All the dudes are like, "What the hell? How is it so powerful then?" Like, they're just bewildered, especially Ida, who's asking so many questions. He's like, "Silence, mortals! Oh, you're disturbing my rest, and the teacher's rest, nonetheless, to say." They're like, "The teacher? He isn't even here." "Actually, I am." Ugh, God, if you guys could even shut up for 2 seconds. "Alright, get these clothes on. We're gonna go." And they're all like, "Wait, what?" So that still happens. But I feel like Deku, then they start doing the sports exam little thing. So basically, he mostly aces all the stuff because his wings allow him to maneuver very fast. His wings are really powerful too. They're able to like lift better than himself, which is saying something. And then his talons are better for grip force and stuff. So he does extraordinarily well on most of the tests. And his general knowledge of everything in the world is more advanced than any human in the world right now. So I would say that he aces that too. So basically, yeah, no, that works out for him. And then the ball test, I feel like he just like he riles up both of his wings and then does a gigantic gust of wind that even forces him back. That shoots the ball off in a really far direction, beating out Bakugo's barely, which makes Bakugo so fucking mad. Like, he's like, who the fuck is this freak? Like, what? But yeah, no. So that's pretty cool. Deku, what goes on? Oh yes, Alpha 1 enters the classroom, and they start doing the heroes versus villains. He still gets paired up with Uraraka, and Uraraka is happy to be paired up with him because she thinks he's just so cute and shit. And he, of course, is mad because now she's just going to be fawning over him while he's trying to defeat both of them. So she can't help but just follow him in. And she's like, we should compose a strategy. He's like, yes, we should. I don't need you, but you're being able to throw rocks in the air. Perhaps I could just gust them out of the air, throwing them at people. Follow behind me. And she's like, yes, sir. He's like, God fucking damn it. Whatever. I don't care if you just fawned over me. Just goddamn help me in these fights. So basically, Bakugo, of course, is I would think, even more mad than before. No. His rage before was completely and utterly, like, destructive. This time, he's coming straight after Deku for just being a general freak and, like, just saying that he'll kill everybody, because Bakugo is actually a kind of a nice dude. Without Deku there, I mean, Bakugo is actually pretty chilled. Like, he's not annoyed by anybody really that much anymore. He's just kind of mad, but not really that mad compared to before. So I would say that, like, yeah, no, he just comes straight after him because he's disturbing the peace. And he's like, you're just a goddamn villain and goddamn accept it. So he burst through one of the walls trying to punch Deku, but he had smelled him from, like half a mile away. Missing his gigantic left hook. Deku kind of like catches him with his wing, only to throw him down, knocking the wind out of Bakugo instantly, and cuffing him. That was really fast. Now that I'm realizing it. Well, whatever. That was basically Deku could see him from miles away, and also smell him from miles away. So I would expect Deku to come prepared and just instantly defeat Bakugo's recklessness. He's used to just defending, remember? So, now with Bakugo out of the way, he just walks straight over Bakugo. Bakugo's like, come back here and fight me fair and square, you bastard. He's like, I did fight you fair and square. Fucking whatever. So then Ida stands in front of him. And, Ida's scared as shit right now, but he still has to act the part of an arrogant villain. And he's like, you should have been the villain. This would work way better. And Deku's like, you're not acting like a villain yet. Come on, let's get this started. As Deku instantly starts chasing Ida, throwing gigantic gusts as Ida is running, forces him off the ground, unable to get traction, makes Ida have to get more effective with his running. So he starts running on the ceiling actually by putting his hands on the ground, giving him actual traction to try to kick Deku. Of course, Deku reflects this with one of his wings, and then replacing it with his other wing aimed right at his face. Ida kind of does a reciprocal burst, allowing him to dodge past this and then leg sweep Deku, which leads to Deku landing on one of his hands. Deku decides to start flying and flies around in a circle behind Ida. Ida, unable to do anything in this situation, gets grabbed from behind and then put in a sort of chokehold position by Deku, who then clouds him with his wings and then jumps as hard as he can out, bursting through the ceiling up into the sky and then releasing Ida. Ida, like a mile in the air, just starts falling. And then Deku is just like falling with him, and he's just like, "This is really scary to you, mortal. Come on, say you give up. Say it." I could have easily cuffed you, yes, but then again, this is more fun. Dude, this isn't a joke. I'm gonna go just splat on the ground. And he's like, "Yes, isn't that fun?" I think we'll end it off there. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.